Hello, everyone.
What's up? Reading Iliad, the Iliad, Book 6. Hector returns to Troy.
We may need to do some speaking up today.
Yeah, probably.
We're back at Cedar Point for Nate's birthday.
Yeah. So the clash of Achaean and Trojan troops was on its own. The battle in all its fury, veering back and forth, careering down the plain, as they sent their bronze lances hurtling side to side between the Simios banks and Xanthus swirling rapids. But that Achaean bulwark, giant Ajax, came up first. He broke the Trojan line and brought his men some hope. Spearing the bravest man, the Thracian field. I'm like locked out. The Thracians fielded. Acamas, tall and staunch. Eurysaurus son. The first to hurl. Great Ajax hit the ridge of the helmet's horsehair crest. The bronze point struck Acampus. I cannot read these gosh darn names. Acamas' forehead pounding through the skull, and the dart came swirling to shroud his eyes.
You know, I'm reading Psalms on my channel, and the hardest thing about it is the names. I totally get it. Those ancient names are, ugh.
Yeah. I gotta lock in, bro. It's been so long since I've
Start
read.
naming our kids these types of names.
Yeah, bro. Yes, sir.
Bring them back into circulation.
Telephone.
Telephones.
A shattered war cry. Diomedes killed off
Exactly what I do in book
Xanthus.
6.
What?
Exactly what I do in book 6.
Anyways, continue.
Teuthras' son, who had lived in Rockville as Arisbe, a man of means and a friend to all mankind. At his roadside house, he'd warm all comers in. But who of his guests would greet his enemy now? Meet him face to face, ward off grisly death. Diomedes killed the man in his aid in arms at once, Xanthus and Calesius, who always drove his team. Both at the stoke he drove beneath the earth. Euryalus killed Dressus, killed Opheltus, turned and went to Pedasus and Iaspus, twins, the nymph of the spring. Oh my gosh. A Barare or some crap. Or Eucalion, son himself to the lofty king. I swear. I'm just gonna first of the line, though his mother bore the prince in secrecy and shadow, tending his flax one day, Eucalion took the nymph in a strong surge of love, and beneath his horse she bore twin sons. But now the son of Mecestius hacked the force from beneath them both and loosed their gleaming limbs, and tore the armor off the dead man's shoulders. Polypotes raced for battle, killed Astalius, swinging his bronze spear. Odysseus slew Pydades, bred in Percody, and Teucer did the same for royal Aratian. Aborus went down too, under the flashing lance of Nestor's son Antilochus, and Elatus under the lord of men Agamemnon's strength. Elatus by the banks of the rippling Set Noises in Pedasus perched on cliffs. The hero Letus ran Philocleus down to the ground at a dead run, and Eurypylus killed Melanthius outright. But Menelaus Lord of the Warcry had caught Adrestus alive, rearing, bolting, and tearing down the plain. His horses snared themselves in tamarisk branches. Okay, someone read this next page, bro. I cannot do this crap.
Next page.
Yeah. So just this one.
Splintered his curved chariot just at the pole's tip, and breaking free, they made a dash for the city walls, where battle teams by the drove stampeded back in panic. But their master hurled from the chariot, tumbling over the wheel and pitching face down in the dust. And above him now rose Menelaus, the spear's long shadow looming. Adrestus hugged his knees and begged him, pleading, "Take me alive, Atreides, take a ransom worth my life. Treasures are piled up in my rich father's house, bronze and gold and plenty of well-wrought iron. Father would give you anything, gladly, priceless ransom, if he only learns I'm still alive in Argive's ships." His pleas were moving the heart in Menelaus, just at the point of handing him to an aide to take him back to the first Achaean ships, when up rushed Agamemnon, blocking his way and shouting out, "So soft, dear brother? Why? Why such concern for enemies? I suppose you got such tender, loving care at home from the Trojans. Ah, would to God not one of them could escape his sudden plunging death beneath our hands. No baby boy still in his mother's belly, not even he escaped. An Ilium blotted out, no tears for their lives, no markers for their graves." And the Iron Warrior brought his brother round, rough justice fitting too. Menelaus shoved Adrestus back with a fist. Powerful Agamemnon stabbed him in the flank, and back on the side the fighter went, face up. The son of Atreus dug a heel in his heaving chest and wrenched the ash spear out. And here came Nestor with orders ringing down the field. "My comrades, fighting Danaans, aids of Ares, no plunder now. Don't lag behind. Don't flint yourself at spoils just to haul the biggest portion back to your ship. Now's the time for killing. Later, at leisure, strip the courses up and down the plain." So he ordered, spurring each man's nerve, and the next moment, crowds of Trojans once again would have clambered back inside their city walls, terror-struck by the Argives primed for battle. But Helenus, son of Priam, best of the seers who scan the flight of birds, came striding up to Aeneas and Hector, calling out, "My captains, you bear the brunt of Troy and Lycia's fighting. You are our bravest men, whatever the enterprise. Pitched battle itself or planning our campaigns, so stand your ground right here. Go through the ranks and rally all the troops. Hold back our retreating mobs outside the gates before they throw themselves in their women's arms in fear. A great joy to our enemies closing for the kill. And once you've roused our lines to the last man, we'll hold out here and fight the Argives down. Hard hit as we are, necessity drives us on. But you, Hector, you go back to the city. Tell our mother to gather all the older noble women together in gray-eyed Athena's shrine on the city's crest. Unlock the doors of the goddess's sacred chamber and take a robe, the largest, loveliest robe that she can find throughout the royal halls, a gift that far and away she prizes most herself, and spread it out across the sleek-haired goddess's knees. Then, promise to sacrifice 12 heifers in her shrine, yearlings never broken, if only she'll pity Troy, the Trojan wives and all her helpless children, if only she'll hold Diomedes back from the holy city, that wild spearman, that invincible headlong terror. He is the strongest Argive now, I tell you. Never once did we fear Achilles, so captain of armies, born of a goddess too." I'll just read this page. "Or so they say. But here's a maniac run amok. No one can match his fury man to man." Sorry, my bad. It slipped up. So he urged. He's okay. He's just got a little
I think he's choking.
He's not choking.
I think you need to hang him upside down until it comes out of it.
That's not what you do.
Yeah, when someone's choking, you're like grabbing that logo from like.
No.
Until it comes. Well, that's what happened when Chloe chokes.
Wait, just lock back in. Is it his turn to read?
You put your hand like this and you thrust into their
You like
chest.
thrust into it.
Oh my gosh. So he urged and Hector obeyed his brother start to finish. Down he leapt from his chariot, fully armed, hit the ground, and brandishing 2 sharp spears, went striding down his lines. Ranging flank to flank, driving his fighters into battle, rousing grisly war, and round the Trojans whirled, bracing to meet the Argives face to face. And the Argives gave way, they quit the slaughter. They thought some god swept down from the starry skies. To back the Trojans now, they wheeled and rallied so. Hector shouted out to his men in a piercing voice, gallant-hearted Trojans and far-famed allies. Now be men, my friends. Call up your battle fury, till I can return to Troy and tell them all, the old counselors, all our wives, and pray to the gods and vow to offer them many splendid victims. As Hector turned for home, his helmet flashed in the long dark hide of his boss's shield, the rim running the metal edge, drummed his neck and ankles. And now, Glaucus, son of Hippolacus, and Tydeus' son Diomedes met in the no man's land between both armies, burning for battle, closing, squaring off, and the lord of the war cried Diomedes opened up, "Who are you, my fine friend, another born to die? I've never noticed you on the lines where we win glory, not till now, but here you come, charging out in front of all the rest with such bravado, daring to face the flying shadow of my spear. Pity the ones whose sons stand up to me in war. But if you are any mortal come from the blue, I'm not the man to fight the gods of heaven. Not even Dryas's indestructible son Lycurgus. Not even he lived long. That fellow who tried to fight the deathless gods." Who'd like to read next?
I mean, I didn't remember reading it.
If Nate has one, I don't want to read it.
Okay, bet.
No, let's just have one
I want to
person.
read one. Yo, let's just make this too
You're either-
complicated. Let's just make this too complicated.
Okay, he can read one page. It's all good.
It's supposed to be a reference to the band Rush.
I don't think
Zeus listened to
I'll
Rush.
do that, crap.
He rushed at the Maenades once. Nurses of wild Dingus scattered them breadneck down the holy mountain Niza. A rout of them steward their scared staves to the ground. What is this? What's this? What's that?
Oh my gosh.
He rushed at the Maenades at once. Nurses of wild Dionysus scattered round them breakneck down the holy mountain Nysa. A rout of them strewed their sacred staves on the ground, raked with the cattle prod by Lycurgus, murderous fool. And Dionysus was terrified. He dove beneath the surf. When he seen him, Thetis pressed him to her breast. Dionysus, numb with fear, shivers racked his body, thanks to the raucous onslaught of that man. But the gods who live at ease lashed out against him. Worse, the son of Cronos struck Lycurgus blind, nor did the man live long, not with the hate of all the gods against him. No, my friend, I have no desire to fight the life immortals, but if you're a man who eats the crops of earth, a mortal born for death, here, come closer. The sooner you will meet your day to die. The noble son of Hippolacus answered staunchly, high-hearted son of Tydeus, why ask about my birth? Like the generations of leaves, the lives of mortal men. Now the wind scatters the old leaves across the earth. Now the living timber bursts with new buds, and spring comes round again. And so with men, as one generation comes to life, another dies away. But about my birth, if you'd like to learn it well, first to last, though many people know it, here's my story. There is a city, Corinth, deep in a bend of Argos. good stallion country, where Sisyphus used to live, the wiliest man alive. Sisyphus, Aeolus' son, who had a son called Glaucus, and in his day Glaucus sired brave Bellerophon, a man without a fault. The gods gave him beauty and the fine, gallant traits that go with men. But Proteus plotted against him, far stronger. The king in his anger drove him out of Argos, the kingdom Zeus had brought beneath his scepter. Proteus's wife, you see, was mad for Bellerophon, and the lovely Ante lusted to couple with him, all in secret. Futile, she could never seduce the man's strong will, his seasoned firm resolve. So straight to the king she went, blurting out her lies. I wish you'd die, Proteus, if you don't kill Bellerophon. Bellerophon's bent on dragging me down with him in lust, though I fight him all the way. All of it false, but the king seethed when he heard the tale like that. He balked at killing the man. He'd some respect at least, but he quickly sent him off to Lycia, gave him tokens, murderous signs, scratched and folded tablets, and many of them too, enough to kill a man. He told him to show them to Antaeus' father. That would mean his death. So off he went to Lycia, safe in the escort of gods. And once he reached the broad highlands cut off by rushing Xanthus, the king of Lycia gave him a royal welcome supper. 9 days he feasted. 9 oxen slaughtered. When the 10th dawn shone over rose-red figures, he began to question him, asked to see his credentials, whatever he brought him from his in-law. Proteus, but then, once he received that fatal message, sent from his own daughter's husband, first he ordered Bellerophon to kill the Chimera, grim monster sprung of the gods, nothing human, all lion in front, all snake behind, all goat in between, terrible, blasting lethal fire at every breath. But he laid her alone, obeying signs from the gods. Next he fought the Solamine, tribesman bedtime glory, roughest battle of men he ever entered. So we claimed. Then, for a third test, he brought the Amazons down, a match for men in war. But as he turned back, his host sprung out the tightest trap of all, picking the best men from Lycia, guarded flying. He set an ambush that never came home again. Furious Bellerophon killed them all.
Then yes, when the king could see the man's power at last, a true son of the gods, he pressed him hard to say he offered his own, or to stay. He offered his own daughter's hand in marriage. He gave him half his royal honors as the king. And the Lycians carved him out a grand estate, the choicest land in the realm, rich in vineyards and good tilled fields for him to lord it over. And his wife bore good Bellerophon 3 children, Isander, Hippolacus, and Laodamia. Laodamia lay in the arms of Zeus, who rules the world, and she bore the god a son, our great commander, Sarpedon, helmed in bronze. But the day soon came when even Bellerophon was hated by the gods. Across the Iliad plain he wandered, all alone, eating his heart out, a fugitive on the run from the beaten tracks of men. His son Isander, killed by the war god, never sated, a boy fighting in the Solomai, always out for glory. Laodamia, Artemis, flashing her golden reins, cut her down in anger. But Hippolachus fathered me, I'm proud to say. He sent me off to Troy, and I hear his urgings ringing in my ears. Always be the best, my boy, the bravest. And hold your head up high above the others. Never disgrace the generation of your fathers. They were the bravest champions in Corinth and Lycia, far and wide. What? There you have my lineage. This is the blood I claim, my royal birth. When he heard that, Diomedes' spirits lifted. Raising his spear, the lord of the war cry drove it home, planting it deep down the earth that feeds us all. And with the winning words, he called out to Glaucus, the young captain. Splendid you are, my friend, my guest from the days of our grandfathers long ago. Noble Oeneus hosted your brave Bellerophon once. He held him there in his halls 20 whole days, and they gave each other handsome gifts of friendship. My kinsman offered a gleaming sword belt, rich red. Bellerophon gave a cup, two-handled, solid gold. I left it at home when I set out for Troy. My father, Titius, I really don't remember. I was just a baby when father left me then. That time an Achaean army went to die at Thebes. So now I am your host and friend in the heart of Argos. You are mine in Lycia when I visit your country. Come, let us keep clear of each other's spears, even there in the thick of battle. Look, plenty of Trojans there for me to kill, your famous allies too. Any soldier the god will bring in range or I can run to ground. And plenty of Argives too. Kill them if you can, but let's trade armor. The men must know our claim, but we are sworn friends from our fathers' days till now. Both agreed. Both fighters sprang from their chariots, clasped each other's hands, and traded pacts of friendship. But the son of Cronus, Zeus, stole Glaucus's wits away. He traded his gold armor for bronze with Diomedes, the worth of 100 oxen just for 9. And now, when Hector reached the Scaean gates in the great oak, the wives and daughters of Troy came rushing up around him, asking about their sons, brothers, friends, and husbands. But Hector told them only, pray to the gods. All the Trojan women, one after another, hard sorrows were hanging over many. And soon he came to Priam's place, that magnificent structure built wide with porches and colonnades of polished stone. And deep within its walls were 50 sleeping chambers, masoned in a smooth, lustrous ashlar, linked in a line where the sons of Priam slept beside their wedded wives. And facing these, opening out across the inner courtyard, lay the 12 sleeping chambers of Priam's daughters, masoned in roof in lustrous ashlar, linked in a line where the sons-in-law of Priam slept beside their wives. And there at the palace, Hector's mother met her son, that warm, good-hearted woman going in with Laodice, the loveliest daughter Hecuba ever bred. His mother clutched his hand and urged him, called his name, my child, why have you left the bitter fighting? Why have you come home? Look how they wear you out, the sons of Achaia. Curse them battling round our walls. And that's why your spirit brought you back to Troy, to climb the heights and stretch your arms to Zeus. But wait, I'll bring you some honey and mellow wine. First pour out cups to Father Zeus and the other gods, then refresh yourself. If you'd like to quench your thirst, when a man's exhausted, wine will build his strength. Battle-weary as you are, fighting for your people.
Yeah. So, what happened in that little bit?
I feel like this guy might have killed or something. And left the club because of it.
So, before that, first of all, Menelaus and Agamemnon kill this guy. A bunch of people with confusing names kill each other. And then Diomedes and Glaucus meet, and they're about to fight each other, right? But then Diomedes asks Glaucus about his family lineage or whatever, and they kind of bond, you know, and they trade armor and are chill now, you know. So then it's just that Hector who's going back to the castle because he's tired or something. And his mom talks to him, and she says some crap. But yeah, that's pretty much what we've read so far. Yeah. But Hector, sorry, do you want to read that? But Hector shook his head. His helmet flashed, Don't offer me mellow wine, mother. Not now. You sap my limbs. I'd lose my nerve for war, and I'd be ashamed to pour a glistening cup to Zeus. With unwashed hands, I'm splattered with blood and filth. How could I pray to the Lord of storm and lightning? No, mother. You are the one to pray. Go to Athena's shrine, the queen of plunder. Go of offerings. Gather the older noble women, and take a robe, the largest, loveliest robe that you can find throughout the royal halls. A gift that far and away you prize most yourself, and spread it across the sleek-haired goddess' knees. Then promise to sacrifice 12 heifers in her shrine, yearlings never broken. If she'll only pity Troy, the Trojan wives and all are helpless children. If she'd only hold Diomedes back from the holy city, that wild spearman, that invincible headlong pair. Okay. Now, mother, go to the Queen of Plunder's shrine.
Okay. 17 years.
And I'll go hunt for Paris. Summon him to fight. If the man will hear what I say, let the earth gape and swallow him on the spot. A great curse Olympian Zeus let live and grow in him. For Troy and high-hearted Priam and all his sons. That man, if I could see him bound for the house of death, I could say my heart had forgotten its wrenching grief.
Okay, so what's happening there is Hector is the son of Priam, and Paris is also the son of Priam. So Paris is obviously the guy who started the war, you know? And in this line, we're kind of seeing how Hector feels about that, you know? And it kind of shows that Paris is really the only one carrying on this war, you know, for the Trojan side, you know, if you would just give over Helen, this whole thing would stop, you know.
Yeah.
And pretty much all of Troy outside of Paris wants him to just give it up, you know. But since Paris keeps on continuing this, the war's stopping, and it's pretty much destining Troy to fall, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But his mother simply turned away to the palace. She gave her servants orders, and out they strode to gather the older noble women through the city. Hecuba went down to the storeroom filled with scent, and there they were, brocaded, beautiful robes, the work of Sidonian women. Magnificent Paris brought those women back himself from Sidon, sailing the open seas on the same long voyage. He swept Helen off, her famous father's child, lifting one from the lot. Hecuba brought it down out for great Athena's gift, the largest, loveliest, richly worked, and like a star and like a star it glistened deep beneath the others. Then she made her way, with a file of noble women rushing in her train. Once they reached Athena's shrine on the city crest, the beauty Fiona opened the doors to let them in. Cyaxares' daughter, the horseman Antenor's wife, and Athena's priestess chosen by the Trojans. Then, with a shrill wail, they all stretched their arms to Athena, as Theano, her face radiant, lifting the robe on high, spread it across the sleek-haired goddess' knees, and prayed to the daughter of mighty Father Zeus. Queen Athena, shield of our city, glory of goddesses, now shatter the spear of Diomedes, that wild man, hurl him headlong down before the Scaean gates. At once we'll sacrifice 12 heifers in your shrine, yearlings never broken. If only you'll pity Troy, the Trojan wives, and all our helpless children.
But Athena refused to hear Theano's prayers. And while they prayed to the daughter of mighty Zeus, Hector approached the halls of Paris. Sumptuous halls he built himself with the finest masons of the day, master builders famed in the fertile land of Troy. They'd raised his... What?
Ask a question about the
Master.
Okay.
When he says master builders, like in Lego, there's like some of the Lego games, there's like different ranks of your builders.
Yeah.
Like master builders at the top rank. There's one of those in this book.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, the Lego movie.
The Lego movie. Master builder.
Master builder.
Okay, and with that, they raised his sleeping
You
chamber.
guys master builder? Answer in the comment section.
You guys master
I'll be
builder.
answering.
Let me know when we're ready to continue.
Okay, yeah. I get it.
House and court adjourning preempt,
I realize you have a process.
and Hector's aloft the city heights. Now Hector, dear to Zeus, strokes
Dexter?
Hector.
Horse.
Hector, dear to Zeus, strode through the gates, clutching a thrusting lance 11 forearms long. The bronze tip of the weapon shone before him, ringed with a gold. No, he's coughing. With a
He's
gold.
laughing so hard right now.
Yo, hey. With a golden hoop to grip the shaft. And there in the bedroom, Hector came on Paris polishing,
So
fondling
a
his
tip in the bedroom.
yo,
Yeah.
his splendid battle gear. His shield and breastplate turning over and over his long curved bow. And there was Helen of Argos, sitting with all the women of the house, directing the rich embroidered work they had in hand. Seeing Paris, Hector raked his brother with insults, stinging taunts. What on earth are you doing? Oh, how wrong it is, this anger you keep smoldering in your heart. Look, your people dying around the city, the steep walls, dying in arms, and all of you, all for you. The battle cries and the fighting flaring up around the citadel. You'd be the first to lash out at another, anywhere you saw hanging back from this hateful war. Up with you, before all Troy is torched to a cinder here and now. And Paris, magnificent as gold, replied, Ah, Hector, you criticize me fairly. Yes, nothing unfair beyond what I deserve. And so I will try to tell you something. Please bear with me. What was that? Yo, what did you just show? Like,
Just a song.
please bear with me, help me out. It's not so much from anger or outrage at our people that I keep to my room so long. I only wanted to plunge myself in grief. But just now my wife was bringing me round, her winning words urging me to battle. And it strikes me, even me, as the better way. Victory shifts, you know, now one man, now another. So come, wait while I get this war gear on, or go on ahead and I will follow. I think I can overtake you. Hector, helmet flashing, answered nothing, and Helen spoke to him now. Nay. Her soft voice swelling up. My dear brother, dear to me, bitch that I am. It's in the book. Bitch that I am, vicious, scheming, horror to freeze the heart. Oh, how I wish that first day my mother brought me into the light. Some black whirlwind had rushed me out to the mountains or into the surf where the roaring breakers crash and drag, and the waves had swept me off before all this had happened. But since the gods ordained it all, these desperate years, I wish I had been the wife of a better man. Someone alive to outrage, the withering scorn of men. This one has no steadiness in his spirit. Not now, he never will. And he's going to reap the fruits of it, I swear. But come in, rest on this seat with me, dear brother. You are the one hit hardest by the fighting, Hector. You more than all, and all for me, poor that I am, and this blind, mad Paris. All the two of us. Zeus planted a killing doom within us both, so even for generations still unborn, we will live in song. Turning to go, his helmet flashing, tall Hector answered, Don't ask me to sit beside you here, Helen. Love me as you do, you can't persuade me now. No time for rest. My heart races to help our Trojans. They long for me sorely whenever I am gone. But rouse this fellow, won't you? And let him hurry himself along as well, so he can overtake me before I leave the city. For I must go home to see my people first, to visit my own dear wife and my baby son. Okay. That was quite a rant.
Yeah. So, as we can see, Hector was talking to Paris and Helen. Paris, he was kind of like, Hector was chastising him. Sorry. I swear this cough is like annoying, right? But yeah, Hector's kind of like chastising Paris because Paris is being a little like little sissy, you know. And Helen starts talking to Hector, and I'm gonna be honest, Helen, she kind of seems like a little bit of a villain, you know, because like, I don't know, like a lot of times in the, say like the Odyssey, she tries to act like she was like rooting for like the Greeks the entire time, you know. But I feel like kind of in these scenes we can see that like Helen just like, you know, she's always like shifting sides, you know.
Yeah.
Like she was trying to like seduce Hector in that, you know, after she was already with Paris, and she just keeps on hopping like around, you know.
Yeah, I mean, she said it clear herself, more than I am, so.
Yeah. And even that, I think she's just trying to plead for sympathy, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But still. Anyways.
Okay. Who knows if I will ever come back to them again, or the deathless gods will strike me down at last at the hands of the Argive fighters. A flash of his helmet, and off he strode, and quickly reached his sturdy, well-built house. A white-arbed Andromache, that's his wife. Hector could not find her in the halls. She and the boy and the servant, finely gowned, were standing watch on the tower, sobbing, grieving. When Hector saw no sign of his loyal wife inside, he went down to the doorway, stopped, and asked his servants, "Come, please, tell me the truth now, women. Where's Andromache gone? To my sister's house? To my brother's wives with their long flowing robes? Or Athena's shrine, where the noble Trojan women gathered to win the grim goddess over?" A busy, willing servant answered quickly, "Hector, seeing you want to know the truth, she hasn't gone to your sister's brother's wives or Athena's shrine, where the Trojan women gathered to win the grim goddess over. Up to the gate tower of Troy she's gone, because she heard our men are so hard pressed, the Achaean fighters coming on in so much force. She sped to the wall in panic, like a mad woman. The nurse went with her and carried your child." At that, Hector spun and rushed from his house, back by the same way down the wide, well-paved streets, throughout the city until he reached the Scaean gates, the last point he would pass to gain the field of battle. There, his warm, generous wife came running up to meet him, Andromache, the daughter of gallant-hearted Aeon, who had lived below Mount Placos, rich with timber, in Thebes, below the peaks, and ruled Cilikia's people. His daughter had married Hector, helmed in bronze. She joined him now, and following in her footsteps. And following in her steps, a servant holding the boy against her breast. In the first flush of life, only a baby, Hector's son, the darling of his eyes, and radiant as a star, Hector would always call the boy Scamandrius. Townsmen called him Astaniax, lord of the city, since Hector was the lone defense of Troy. The great man of war breaking into a broad smile, his gaze fixed on his son in silence. Andromache, pressing close beside him and weeping freely now, clung to his hand, urged him, called him, Reckless one, my Hector, your own fiery courage will destroy you. Have you no pity for him, our helpless son, or me, and the destiny that weighs me down, your widow? Now so soon? Yes, soon they will kill you off, all the Achaean mass for assault, and then, bereft of you, better for me to sink beneath the earth. What other warmth, what comfort left for me? Once you have met your doom, nothing but torment. I have lost my father. Mother's gone as well. Father, the brilliant Achilles laid him low. When he stormed Sicilia's city, filled with people, Thebe with her towering gates, he killed Eaton. Not that he'd stripped his gear, he'd have some respect at least for his burned corpse and all his blazing bronze. Then heaped a grave mound high above the ashes, and nymphs of the mountain planted elms around it. Daughters of Zeus, you shield his storm and thunder. And the 7 brothers I had within the halls, all in the same day went down to the house of death. The godlike runner Achilles butchered them all, tending their shambling oxen, shining fields. And mother ruled under the timberline of woody Plycos once. He no sooner held her here with his other plunder, then he took a priceless ransom, set her free, and home she went to father's royal halls, where Artemis, showering arrows, shot her down. Okay, so Hector's talking to his wife.
We're almost done. It's my turn to read, and then Isaac's going to finish us off.
Yep. Sounds good.
You, Hector, you are my father now, my noble mother, a brother too, and you are my husband, young and warm and strong. Pity me, please. Take your stand on the rampart here. Before you orphan your son and make your wife a widow, draw your armies up where the wild fig tree stands, there where the city lies most open to assault, the walls lower, easily overrun. 3 times they have tried that point, hoping to storm Troy, their best fighters led by the great and little Ajax, famous Idomeneus, Atreus' sons, valiant Diomedes, perhaps a skilled prophet revealed the spot, or their own fury whips them on to attack. And tall Hector nodded, his helmet flashing. All this weighs on my mind too, dear woman. But I would die of shame to face the men of Troy and the Trojan women trailing their long robes if I would shrink from battle now, a coward. Nor does the spirit urge me on that way. I've learned it all too well. To stand up bravely, always to fight in the front ranks of Trojan soldiers. Winning my father great glory for myself. For in my heart and soul I know this well. The day will come when sacred Troy must die. Priam must die and all his people with him. Priam who hurls the strong ash spear. Even so, it is less the pain of the Trojans still to come that weighs me down. Not even of Hecuba herself or King Priam, or the thought that my own brothers and all their numbers, all their gallant courage may tumble in the dust, crushed by enemies. That is nothing. Nothing besides your agony when some brazen Argive hails you off in tears, wrenching away your day of light and freedom. And then far off in the land of Argos you must live, laboring at a loom at another woman's beck and call, fetching water at some spring. Messes or Hyperia resisting it all the way, yeah?
How long's left of book 6?
It's almost done. Like, just this page.
Can I read the last 2 pages if you're done with that?
Sure. The rough yoke of necessity at your neck. And a man may say, who sees you streaming tears, there is the wife of Hector, the bravest fighter they could field, those stallion-breaking Trojans. Long ago when the men fought for Troy. So he will say, and the fresh grief will swell your heart once more, widowed, robbed of the one man strong enough to fight off your day of slavery. No, let the earth come piling over my dead body. Before I hear your cries, I hear you dragged away.
Okay.
In the same breath, what?
Sorry, I thought you were...
Oh, no, sorry. In the same breath, shining Hector reached down for his son, but the boy recoiled. cringing against his nurse's full breast, screaming out at the sight of his own father, terrified by the flashing bronze, the horse chair crest, the great ridge of the helmet nodding, bristling terror. So it struck his eyes, and his loving father laughed. His mother laughed as well, and the glorious Hector, quickly lifting the helmet from his head, set it down on the ground, fiery in the sunlight, and raising his son, he kissed him, tossed him in his arms, lifting a prayer to Zeus and the other deathless gods. Zeus, all you immortals, grant this boy, my son, may be like me, first in glory among the Trojans, strong and brave like me, and rule all Troy in power, and one day let them say he is a better man than his father when he comes home from battle bearing the bloody gear of the mortal enemy he has killed in war. A joy to his mother's heart. Nay, I think you're shaking the camera. So Hector prayed and placed his son in the arms of his loving wife. Andromache pressed the child. Andromache pressed pressed the child to her scented breast, smiling through the tears. Her husband noticed, and filled with pity now, Hector stroked her gently, trying to reassure her, repeating her name. Andromache, dear one, why so desperate? Why so much grief for me? No man will hurl me down to death against my fate. And fate, no one alive has ever escaped it. Neither brave man nor coward, I tell you. It's born with us the day that we are born. So please go home and tend to your own tasks, and distaff in the loom, and keep the women working hard as well. As for the fighting, men will see to that. All who were born in Troy, but I most of all. Okay, Nate, you're gonna start here and finish us off today.
Where am I starting?
Yo.
Hector a flag.
Hector a flash in arms. He took his horsehair crested helmet once again, and his loving wife went home.
Make sure you speak up a little bit, just so the
back
camera-
again and again, weeping live, warm tears. She quickly reached her sturdy horse of Hector, man-killing Hector, and she found her woman gathered there inside, and stirred them all into a high pitch of mourning. So in the house, they raised the, what's that word say? Dirges from the dead. The Hector still alive, his people were so convinced that never again he would come home from battle, never escape his Argives, rage the bloody hands, nor to pierce linger long in his vaulted halls. Son, as he buckled on his elegant gleaming bronze, he rushed through Troy, sure in his racing stride, as a stolid fool who rat at master, stalled too long, breaking free from his tether gallops down the plain. Out for his favorite plunge in a river's cool currents, thundering in his pride, his head flung back, his mane streaming over his shoulders. Sure and sleek in his glory, knees racing him all the fields and million hunts he loves. So down the, what does that word say? Pergamus heights came Paris, son of Priam, glittering in his arms like the sun astride the skies. Excellent, laughing aloud, his fast feet spat upon it. Quickly he overtook his brother, noble Hector, still lingering, show to turn from the spot. When he just had confronted his wife, what does that word say? Magnificent Paris spoke first. Dear brother, look at me, holding you back in all your speed, dragging my feet to you so late, and you told me to be quick. A flash of his helmet, and Hector shot back. Impossible, man. How could anyone fare and just underrate your work in battle? You're a good soldier, but hang back your own accord. Refuse to fight. And that's why the heart inside me aches when I hear the Trojans heap contempt on you. The men who bear such struggles of before you come now for attack, and we'll see the rights. And we'll set this to rights. Someday, if Zeus ever lets us raise the wine bowl of freedom high in our halls, high to the gods of the cloud sky who live forever. Once again, the Argives gather. What does that word say? Tears for the battle of Troy. Okay. What happens next?
He checks.
What happens next? I guess you guys will have to watch the next episode to find out.
Yes, sir.
Oh man, thank you guys for watching. Yo.
Wait, so I feel like we gotta discuss that last bit first. So, like specifically Hector's meeting with his wife, you know.
Yeah.
So what do we notice in that? What was that about? What were they talking about?
I don't know.
Whatchamacallit,
Andromache.
yeah.
But what were they talking about?
Whatchamacallit, just like, if he left or whatnot.
Yeah. So like, I kind of find it a little bit interesting because they were talking about in that section when Hector was talking with Andromache, his wife. Like, Andromache was worried that Hector was gonna die if he went back to fight.
Yeah. Because when she was like, the line that really stood out to me was like, before you widow your wife and,
Orphan your son.
orphan your son.
Yeah. So like, she was worried. Like, Hector though, I kind of feel like he had like a responsibility to Troy because he is the most powerful warrior to fight for it, and that's kind of interesting because in the Iliad by Homer, it talks about Aeneas, who's obviously in the book, and after the fall of Troy, there's a scene where Aeneas is faced with like the option to either, like, this is during the fall of Troy, he's faced with the option to either go out, fight, and die for his like country, or save the remainder of the Trojans, like the small group, to like carry on and like make a new city, and so like I think Hector in that case probably would have gone out and fought for Troy, but I kind of find it interesting that Aeneas doesn't do that, and instead he like chooses to go and help his people, and I just kind of thought that was a little bit interesting. We went really in depth into that in my class. It was this whole like, I guess, private desire versus public responsibility thing, like Aeneas' private desire was to go out and die for his country, but his public responsibility required him to save the people of Troy and like keep on fighting,
Yeah, so it's like a inner conflict.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And I kind of feel like that's similar to Hector's. Like, he could either stop fighting, save his family, and like try to like just not carry on this thing that he knew he probably wasn't gonna win. But he does end up keep on fighting. He does end up like continuing to fight, which is like noble in some regard, but also it ends up in his death, which I don't think that's that big of a spoiler, like this book has been out for thousands of years.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But yeah, that was my last thought.
What was Homer's last name?
Simpson.
Homer drops his donut. Okay, guys. See you in the next one.